everybody. This is the Master Chief coming to you from Colorado at 10,000 feet. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the Crye Precision AVS Plate Carrier. AVS stands for Adaptable Vest System. I literally wore body armor for over half of my life while I was in the military for 25 years. Went through several variations, wore this one a lot. This is one of my absolute favorites. It's what I still use today. I have several different. I have some nostalgic ones. I have some other ones, but this is my favorite. The thing I like about this AVS system is there's so many ways that you can configure this. You can configure it from just a plate carrier. If say you were a RSO for a shoot, or you were teaching, shooting or something like that, all the way up to a full combat system with backpack side panels, modular side panels. So today we're just going to talk about the vest itself and some of the tricks to wearing this and to setting it up. Some of the accessories, with the cummerbund system or the single strap system, the two strap system, or the three strap system with the doffing cable, and some of the pouches. We also have the optional belt system with the MOLLE on it that works with the Crye system, that you can put additional belt and additional gear on. The idea behind this system, when the National Mission Forces put out a bid to create a variable system that we could change really quickly but still have all the protection and not have to completely take our gear apart in order to do it, and this is what was born. The other thing that came out of it was an emergency release system or a doffing system. So if something happened and you were in the water and you had to get out of it fast, you could. So we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff here today, how to set them up, and a lot of the little tricks with this particular vest, which is an awesome system. And so we're going to get through some of that. First, we're going to talk about some of the fine-tuning things that we can do with this AVS system. First adjustment system we have is your set side, which is the side opposite of your Fastex, which would be opposite of your doffing system if you so desire to do that. One of the things I like to do once I get these adjusted to my girth is I will run this taping back through the buckle so it stays, so it locks it in, and then I'll run the keeper over the top of that. I like to not put tape over the buckle, because if there's tape on the buckle, then I can't see the buckle. But I will tape the running end down over the elastic. That way I can always see if this pulls out of here, it's still locked, but it's something that I know I have to address when I do my pre-op checks. The other area of adjustment we have is on our rear thoracic plate, up and down. And that's done with this buckle right here. This buckle is tied in through up here. You can actually loosen this up. It goes through a locking system similar to a regular belt buckle, and then it velcros down here. So you can loosen this buckle, adjust this longer or shorter, so it will adjust the length of this plate up and down. Once we have our set side in, this side pretty much stays locked in all the time. So what we'll do is we'll run our cummerbund and our locking system through, and then we'll lock it back over onto itself. That gives it some play here with in and out or breathing, heavy breathing, more clothing, stuff like that. And then this is actually what holds our girth, which we already got locked and down, and that will come around and set under our Velcro plate carrier, which will secure it, and that will set my side. On the donning and doffing side, we do it a little bit different, but it's very similar. This side will just stay Velcroed like this. When we climb into this will just slide in, and it'll kind of float a little bit like that. But this is the strap that actually sets our maximum. It can always go in if you hit something or bump something, but it's never going to go out, because this is what actually holds. So again, this will come up under our magazine plate. Magazine plate will go back down, and then as you see, that'll stretch out, and that sets your girth right there. The next thing we're going to talk about is the back pad. As you can see, the harness actually will stretch and move with your body. That's one of the beauties of this system. You can tighten it up more, loosen it up more, whatever you like. A lot of people like to tie these. I'm not a real big fan of it. I like to be able to loosen this. So what I'll do is I'll just fold this up under here. I'll grab the two elastics. I'll kind of slalom them up underneath where they crisscross on the back side. And then I'll just wrap them around the top and fold them back down, following the same procedure. And then personally, I just leave them like that. They never go anywhere, and you can always very quickly adjust this if you have a change of temperature or anything where you have to loosen them a little bit without loosening your set side straps. You can actually spread this apart with more clothing or anything like that by simply flipping these out, giving you a little bit more slack in them, and then slalom them back through, and then you can always go back and forth like that. One of the many options we have with this is the skeletal system. This gives us the ability for another layer of MOLLE that we can actually put a radio here and wrap around and go on, or we can have layers of MOLLE underneath. We can actually raise this and lower this. Pretty simple system to set up on the non-exit side. We use the Tri-Glide buckle. We literally have already got one set up. So we'll run this through. We will run it through one side of the Tri-Glide and then through the other, and then that will lock it into the cummerbund system, and then it harnesses just like the single skeletal system does. You can adjust this however you want, whatever your girth is, get it going like that, and this is on this, and then that goes back under your plate system or under your ammo pouches. And then that's how that goes on. It simply gives you another layer of MOLLE where you can put, narrower things in between, radios, things like that. If we're not going to use our emergency doffing system, we would route these just like we did on the other side with our Tri-Glide buckles. These would both go through like so. And then we would route our Tri-Glide buckles just like we did previously on the other side. However, if we are going to use the emergency doffing system, we've got to do a couple more things. So the first thing we'll do is we'll route our emergency pull handle. Again, this is on the exit side, so it will simply come up through the shoulder pad. You'll be able to trace it up and through. We want it to come under this Velcro loop in here to make sure that it's running clean. This is very similar to a ripcord handle on a parachute. I believe that's where they got the idea to do this. So we want to slalom this up through this channel here. And then again, we're going to come down through the back plate channel. So a little bit harder with the, when you're doing this, you want to kind of pull that cable over behind as you're pushing it down until it pops out the bottom and you can grab it, and there it is. All right, now that our cable is routed, it comes all the way through there. Remember, this is our exit side, so this is the side we want to release. You would already have this figured out on where you want to go through this for your girth, or for your fit, because remember, this is going to hold you. Once you do, it's a pretty simple system, but once you get it to here, you slalom your skeletal system through. The cable simply go down through both of these. They get pulled tight. Now that is your emergency egress or your doffing system. And then the excess, they put a nice little pouch in here where you can tuck it in there so it stays good. Once this is on, you would don it just like normal. This would go in. You would put your release system under your cummerbund side, under your magazines, Velcro that down, and this is how it would be worn. Now, if you have to do, there is a Velcro tab here that this can slide up either side of this, and it tacks right in here, and that'll kind of hold it from inadvertent. So now, if you have to get this thing off fast, you would reach up, unbuckle this buckle, grab this ripcord, pull it out, and then the whole thing will come apart, and you can swim out of it. For this configuration, we've added the tri-skeletal strap. We did the same thing as before as we did with the double skeletal strap. The one thing we did add, and this is an option, a lot of guys will do this with paracord, some guys will use the bungee, but we just run kind of a safety cord in case one of these gives way or breaks. It's just kind of a secondary backup that this will catch. Yeah, it'll be loose, but it'll still hold on. And then if you noticed, I tied a figure 8 knot in the bottom of them, then you could either snip these off or make them a little tighter or however you want it. You could also use paracord for this. But that's just an extra way to hold that in place on your set side of the system. On the doffing side, don and doffing side, again, we've ran our cable through, so it's through our system. Remember, this is set up so we could put, something on this molly on the inside, and then maybe a little more molly, ammo pouches, whatever you need on the outside. And then as before, the emergency doffing system, as you unbuckle this buckle, pull this through, everything will just come apart, and out you come. Configuration we're going to set up now is just a regular plate carrier. This is great for if you are just a range safety officer or just simply want the plates and not everything else. So we've removed our cummerbund system, and we're going to set this up for a 2 skeletal strap, just simple plate carrier. You can also use the 3 skeletal strap or the single skeletal strap to configure it in the single. The other 2 that come in the kits is the shoulder harness protectors. These little loops on the side are to run a camelback hose through or a radio wire or whatever you need to do. One's more Cordura and one's a little bit softer material, so it really depends on what kind of use you're going to do it. So as we're going to do, we're going to set this up. As you see, we've removed all 4 of our tri-glides. Remember, this goes around, so we're going to make sure that this matches and sticks sides. So this goes on this side. Set that on there, and then we already know this one goes on this side. So we'll flip this over, and this is pretty nifty how they designed this. So it's very simple. The one additional thing we're going to use is we're going to use our little bungee. So we'll set that aside for now. And this is very simply, we will slalom these through. We do not have to go through these main packs here. That's for the cummerbund system. Another important thing to remember while I'm putting these on is that all of these straps and everything in these systems are sized. So you'll see the size right there. So you got to make sure you want a bigger size. You can actually mix and match. Just because you have a large plate carrier doesn't mean you don't want an extra large skeletal system to go around that cummerbund. So always keep that in mind. I'm going to run these right around to the middle there, and then I'll do the same on this side. If I were going to use the 3-band skeletal system, I would use these inside ones and not these outside ones. And again, we can use, since these are laddered, we can overlap these if we have to, but the connection system's pretty simple. We're going to take our elastic, we're going to run it through the ends. Remember, this is just to hold the plates around our body. We're not really putting a lot of pressure on them because we don't have any weight on them. There's no gear, there's no magazine pouches, radios, all that stuff. So we don't need a lot of, we're going to X these here. And again, remember, when we are going to tie elastic or any kind of webbing at all or elastic, we're going to use a figure 8 knot. So go ahead and tie our figure 8. There's our figure 8 knot. And again, you can adjust this up and down, but what that does is that gives us a little bit of stretch right there to put this on comfortably. We'll go ahead and set these together. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect our top straps. Again, remember, not a lot of buckles here because we don't have a lot of weight hanging. It's just the weight of the plates. I'm going to use these for this application because they'll be easy to put on without bunching everything up. So I've already set my height and I'm pretty much right dead center. And I'm going to go ahead with my elastic protectors. Notice there's a hook and pile here so they don't slide up and down. And now we have just a simple plate carrier system. So you can just throw that over, throw it on, and you're ready to go. Super quick. Warriors have been wearing types of body armor since the dawn of time. Back from wicker chest plates to the Bronze Age, where it was more of the bronze steel or the bronze material, to the Spanish conquistadors, to the knights with the heavy armor and the chainmail, all the way up to today's modern body armor. That with the plates, there's several different types of plates, from ceramics, there's boron carbide, there's regular AR500 plate, and then some of the real exotic, expensive plates that you can put into these systems. One of the things I've learned about plates and body armor is they're like really fast cars. The less weight they are, the more expensive they are. So you can get a heavy AR500 plate, which is just a piece of thick steel, which is super heavy, or you can get into the ceramics, which now we're talking more and more money, and then the covered ceramics or the covered boron carbides or some of the other exotics, they're super light, but they're also very expensive. Today's session was all about plate carriers and body armor. We went through the Crye Precision AVS system, all the different configurations that we can do with it, including the doffing system. We talked about the different type of strap systems, the tri, the double, and the single. We talked about the doffing system and how it works in some of the accessory pouches. This is a great system. It's comfortable. I've wore it for countless hundreds of hours. And the thing I really like about it is you can set it up for whatever you're doing, whether it's humping through the hills or if you're working close to water. It's the most versatile system on the market today. And I hope you guys enjoyed this session, and we'll see you later. This is the Master Chief. I'm out.